This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Thursday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, SiriusXM channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. It's Kelly Bidlin alongside.
Hey, how we doing?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
May I wish a quick Yom Kippur to those who keep Yom Kippur today, for those who are involved in such a thing. My father would be upset with me for being at work today, but hey, here we are. Citizen of the world before the religion takes precedence.
That's right. You're a man of the people.
That's what I am.
So is Zach Cohen.
Zach called in advance. Is Gil going to be there? Because if Gil's going to be there, then I'll be
Zach Cohen, the nicest dude on the planet. And I'm like, just take the day off, man. It's a holiday. Like, it's okay. You don't need to come. No. I want to be there.
If I wasn't there, he wasn't going to show.
He wasn't going to show.
Yeah, that's great. Zach, part of the Zach and Crack comedy duo today. Zach will be here as well with his tennis plays from the Asian Swing, men's and women's. Also some NFL, of course, from Zach. And then Bill Krackenberger, the other side of that. Unscripted with the Crackman, hour number 3 today. Looking forward to that as always. Always get the text the night before. It's like, we good for tomorrow? Just in case I forgot to tell him I was out of town or something. Yep, we're good.
All right, there we go.
Crack's in there. Are we sure? Estamos seguros? A little later, Tim Murray on college football. Our most smug weekly guest, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, on a weekly basis. Jensen Lewis momentarily talk Major League Baseball playoffs, which you want to begin there? You want to begin with football?
Sure. Let's do baseball.
Let's do baseball. Yesterday, and we'll talk with Jensen more about this, a quadruple header, all the game twos of the wild card round, the best of 3 wild card rounds, and they were, I think the proper amount of series have gotten to a game 3. I didn't want to see a game 3 between the Reds and the Dodgers, also because there's a football game tonight, just from a fan/betting standpoint. Dodgers take care of it 2-0 against the 2-0 in terms of the series. They blow out the Reds once again. 8-4, but I should say that the takeaway from the Dodgers once again is, and by the way, Yoshinobu Yamamoto was great, 6 2/3, 0 earned runs, though the Reds were spotted 2 runs early in this game. 4 hits, 9 Ks against 2 walks on 113 pitches. He was great. So was Roki Sasaki, a perfect 9th with 2 strikeouts. That's the Dodgers formula. It's what's in between that's the problem. Because once again in the 8th inning, this 2 games in a row against the Reds, you know how many total pitches the Dodgers threw in the 8th innings combined of these 2 games?
Oh, geez, how many?
100 pitches.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. 100 pitches, 5 earned runs on 4 hits, 7 walks issued in the 2 combined 8th innings against 3 Ks. That's the bugaboo for the Dodgers, but they dispatch the Reds. And for their efforts now, they're going to start a best-of-5 against the Phillies on Saturday in Philly. It's going to be Shohei Ohtani against Christopher Sanchez. So that's where the Dodgers are headed. Congratulations to all who bet the chalk there. The other 3 series, though, we'll do them chronologically because all the game 3s of the remaining series are today. A little bit of a staggered start. The first one does not start at 1 p.m. Eastern like it has the last couple days. It will start at 3 p.m. Eastern in Cleveland at Progressive, where the Guardians knotted up against the Tigers. It was a 1-1 game in the 8th when the Guardians exploded to kill all the underbettors for a 5-run 8th. It was Brian Rocchio off of Troy Melton with the solo shot to put the Guardians ahead. Then a Quan double, a Daniel Sheeman RBI double, made it 3-1. Then after a Ramirez intentional walk, 2 batters later off Brent Herter, Bo Naylor 3-run Jimmy Jack. And the Guardians win it 6-1.
Yeah, I was sitting in a meeting for all of 20 minutes probably, and all that scoring happened. It was oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Guess we're on to game 3. We're on to game 3 of those Tigers teams.
And so today it's Flaherty against Ciccone. Or
Slade?
Slade Ciccone.
What a badass name. Why haven't we been talking about him all year? We should have been talking about him way more. Slade Ciccone.
Because Americans call him Ciccone, so they botched the last name. Anyway, Flaherty, this is, again, I sort of said this yesterday, which is, of all the postseason series as a whole taken in Major League Baseball, beyond the Yankee starters and the Dodger starters, and Skubal and Crochet, obviously, beyond that, with apologies to the Pavettas of the world, it's about the worst group of starters in anything. So today you have 3 game threes, and these are the matchups. First, it starts with Flaherty and Ciccone. Flaherty's got a 4.64 ERA. His advanced stats are a little better than that. 3.85 fielding independent, 3.69 xFIP. And the reason for the advanced stats being better is he has a really high strand rate, 80.9%. He has a really high home run to fly ball rate, 15.5%. But the K rate is good, 27.6%. Walk rate's a little high, 8.7%. So Flaherty is kind of dicey, if you will. And Ciccone's, 4.30 ERA. His K rate is not nearly as good. It's 20%. The walk rate is better than Flaherty's at 5.9%. Anyway, what you have is a couple kind of meh starters.
We're screwed.
In our Tigers bench?
Yeah.
No, we're not.
Slade Ciccone, man.
That's Kelly's
We're
handicap.
screwed.
That's it. It's over. They shouldn't even play.
They shouldn't even play the game. Shouldn't even play.
Our Tigers pre-flop is bet on the series.
They're gonna have to run out Scooble just to counter this.
So I didn't have a bet in the Reds Dodgers series, but I have 3 going today. I have the Tigers series, I have the Padres series price, and then I have the Yankees adjusted after game 1. So, by the way, Guardians a slight favorite in game 3 today, minus 118, total at 7. As far as the Padres and the Cubs, which is next chronologically today, game 3 back at Wrigley. Padres got off the schneid in the series yesterday. A 3-0 win. The big blast was a Manny Machado 2-run shot in the 5th of this ball game. Put the Padres up 3-0. That was the eventual final. The real story of this game was Dylan Cease, Adrian Morejon, Mason Miller, and Robert Suarez pitching a combined 4-hit shutout for the Padres. 11 Ks against 1 walk. And Miller faced 6 batters, the first 5 of whom he K'd. That's why they got him. That's why they got him at the trade deadline. By the way, he tickled the strings to the balloon of 104.5 miles per hour yesterday on a pitch.
Well, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He's the guy, remember last year, I don't know if you remember this, when he was pitching, was it last year or the year before? Last year when he was pitching for the A's. Whatever is it now, the years run into each other. Was last year's first year or the year before? I can't even remember.
If there's one thing I remember well, Gil, it's pitchers from the A's,
yeah,
okay?
I do. But when he pitched, remember, to Judge, and he wiped him off, and Judge, looked at him and was like, I was saying on air, I was like, Judge looked at Mason Miller, I was like, who is this guy? While he was getting K'd. So game 3 today between the Padres and the Cubs, the decider, one of these teams is donezo. It's Yu Darvish against Jameson Taillon. Taillon is what he is, just like Flaherty and Ciccone. Taillon, 3.68 ERA, but the advanced stats are about a run worse. Maybe not quite a run worse. But he's got a 4.66 fielding independent, 4.34 xFIP. Again, for those uninitiated, those are nice because they're on the same kind of scale of the ERA, where you know instinctively from your baseball card stats and the lifetime of watching baseball, you kind of get what a 2.00 ERA is elite, 3.00 is very good, 4.00 is very average, 5.00 you're not very good at baseball. And then the advanced stats kind of work on that same scale. But the reason for his advanced stats being worse, Taillon's a very fortunate 232 batting average on balls in play, an 80.3% strand rate, 18.9% K rate, doesn't leave a whole bunch of margin for error. He is what he is. Yu Darvish is the enigma in this one. By the way, this is as close to a coin flip as it gets. Right now we're showing Cubbies at minus 108 with a total at 7.5. Yu Darvish, only 72 innings pitched this year. He has a 5.38 ERA. That's not very good. The advanced stats are way better. Well, not the fielding independent, but the expected ERA is way better, a couple runs better. The xFIP is 4.15. Here's the deal with him. He has a very low strand rate, so you would have expected that to be better. In other words, left on base, right? Only 65.8% strand rate. So a lot of guys on base have scored. Really high home run to fly ball rate at 16.1%. To put it in just simple math terms, he's given up 1.7 homers per 9 innings pitched. Darvish has this year. But in only 15 games started, he only has 3 quality starts this year, Yu Darvish. So that's the thing. Which Darvish do you get today? Do you get the guy who, and by the way, in those 3 quality starts, he was really good. But in the other 12, again, meh. Lifetime K rate is 28.4%. This year, only 23%. That's really the biggest difference with Yu Darvish. And then game 3 today, which, again, if you missed it yesterday, the Yankees get off the schneid. They were up 2-0 against the Red Sox. Red Sox tied them. They went up 3-2. Red Sox tied them. And then somehow in the 7th, how Nate Eaton didn't score on a Masataka Yoshida single, I will never know. I don't know if the third base coach held him up and there was just enough of hesitation that he stopped on third. But the Red Sox really should have taken a lead there. But instead it remained tied. Yankees got out of it. And then bottom 8, Jazz Chisholm scoring from first on an Austin Wells single. And that held up for the Yankees, even though
that was awesome.
Judge catching the last out on the warning track. 4-3 Yankees. And today it's, listen, and this exemplifies what I'm talking about the pitchers. Connolly Early versus Cam Schlittler in a decider.
Red Sox and Yankees legends, Gil.
Who could forget? What's your favorite moment in these two guys' pitching careers? Nobody knew who these guys were in May. Early, by the way, Connolly Early of the Red Sox. He will be the first pitcher to ever start a deciding postseason game within 30 days of his Major League Baseball debut. That's how historic this is with Connolly Early today.
No jitters, I'm sure.
Only 19 in the third innings pitched this year, only 4 starts, 2 good, 2 meh. Never more than 5 1/3, by the way. There's the OptaStat stat right there. First pitcher ever to start a winner-take-all postseason game within 30 days of his Major League Baseball debut. So really small sample size. I mean, the K rate has been great in that small sample size, but it's still a small, meaningless sample size. We'll see. And then Schlittler's been pretty good, 2.96 ERA, but the advanced stat's about a run worse than that. 84.5% strand rate is the reason for that, but a good K rate at 27.6%. His bugaboo, a high walk rate. So slight advantage there to the Yankees, and that is reflected in the betting line. Coming back, Jensen Lewis's thoughts on all, next on A Numbers Game.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's College Football Tailgate Show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the Football Contest Show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Paulie on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's Late Night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, Thursday Night Football, a good one with the Rams and the 49ers, a ton of props and a lot of injuries. Paul Charchian to talk fantasy and player props as well. David Baker, former contest winner and professional poker player, to talk NFL. Jensen Lewis to recap and preview the MLB playoffs, and Scott Seidenberg with the NFL betting angle he'll share with us. Follow the Money 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, now Sirius XM Channel 158.
Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Want to bet smarter? Start with Smarter Insights. Right now you can check out the NFL and college football betting hubs for breakdowns of every game. Niners-Rams tonight, which we'll get to. Sam Houston versus New Mexico State picks and previews. Steve Makinen's college football Week 6 picks. And later today you can check out the Breeders' Futurity and American Pharoah Stakes picks. How about that? Futurity, Kelly. Futurity.
American Pharoah Stakes.
Zach Cohen's Shanghai Masters tennis predictions, Bank of America Revolve 400 preview. Right now you can sign up for as little as $9.99 to access all the VSiN Pro articles. Just head to VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up today. We get tweets at Beat of the Book. I just want to mention this one. Norman Vegas, shout out to you. Because I mentioned it was Yom Kippur today.
Mm-hmm.
The Jewish Day of Atonement, Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a very efficient religion. One day we fast and repent for all of our sins from the previous 365 days. Norman Vegas, the sports betting tie-in to this, in addition to Todd Wishnev recounting the famous Yom Kippur massacre on the Megapod today. By the way, it didn't really happen. It's a betting story. That's what he calls it.
How much time do you have to leave for that every year?
Oh, at least 4 or 5 minutes. Poor Cleve TA is like, okay, I'll listen. Norman, it's the best sports betting story, period, ever on the Megapod.
Is that who you have on today? Cleve?
Yeah, Cleve.
Okay.
Cleve
Nice.
TA on the Megapod today.
Very nice.
But Norman Vegas reminds us, he says 60 years ago, 1965, 60 years ago this week, Sandy Koufax would not pitch Game 1 of the World Series for the Dodgers because it fell on Yom Kippur. Don Drysdale started, lost Game 1, prompting him to tell manager Walter Alston, quote, I guess you wish I was Jewish too. He got shelled. He had to be removed by the third inning. Koufax went on to lose Game 2 in Minnesota, so the Dodgers were down 2-0. But then Koufax came back, won Game 5, won Game 7, World Series MVP, and a man of principle. There's your story. Jensen Lewis is a man of principle, too. Maybe not quite in the same way, but he joins us now, kind enough to extend past the By the Books hour or 3 hours that he does with Dave Ross every morning to join us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. Not quite in Progressive Field, but just outside of Progressive Field somewhere in Ohio. How you doing, Jensen?
I'm doing great, buddy. Right down the road here. And, if we could ever get a night game for these winner take-alls in the wild card round, that'd be great. I know Major League Baseball doesn't think too highly of us Midwesterners, but I think we're for a dandy here for the first of 3 winner-take-alls, my friend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Jensen, we're trying to gauge if you're serious about this. So
he's angry. He's furious.
We've gotten a lot of jokes about this. I'm like, the Guardians get the Houston Texans Saturday morning wild card spot. You are legitimately mad about this, that you didn't get top billing over the Dodgers, Yankees, or Padres, Cubs? Come on.
I would say no, and I, again, in a Lewis Ross administration, we reach across the aisle. We're all about bipartisanship. I don't understand how we can't have, if you want the Guardians and the Tigers in the 1 o'clock on day 1, can't we get a 3 o'clock? You can flip, the Cubs and the Padres to a noon Central start. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just give us a little bit more time for people. We're the Rust Belt, man. We got people that actually have to go to work, have to do a job, man. You can't play hooky. So just asking to help our Midwestern people that want to try and make it to the game. You take your kids out of school for a half day. That's all we're asking for, Rob. Glad Rod Manfred's going to be gone here in a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm going to allow it. The Cubs, Padres, I'm going to allow. But just don't touch the Yankees, Red Sox, Jensen. Come on.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think Jensen feels that people who live by the beach do not work. I think that's what I got out of that. All right, Cleveland and Detroit, Game 3. Speaking of your Guardians here. Game 3, I was just talking about this in the last segment. Flaherty against Ciccone in, not what you'd really characterize as a pitching matchup you would script for a deciding game, but that's where we are. Guardians a slight favorite, -118, total 7. I mean, the offense has just been so sparse. Does it wake up today?
That's where I looked at some of the splits and tried to take my heart out of it, Gil. Seeing here on DraftKings, right around 47% of the bets, 75% of the handle, and feel that with you're going to have a lot of guys on both sides that are potentially going to pitch 3 days in a row. And I still cannot figure out why Stephen Vogt ran Cade Smith back out there with a 5-run lead. You clean up the 8th inning. That's what you needed to do. But there's no reason why a big league reliever cannot get 3 outs before giving up 5 runs. Otherwise, you don't deserve to win that game anyway. So that to me is focal point number 1, because if I wanted to extend one reliever on the Cleveland side, I would have wanted Cade Smith available for multiple innings today. I don't know if he can go longer than 1. And I think that is a huge, huge advantage, knowing that Detroit has a a rested Will Vest who can go 2 innings today. Finnegan didn't throw a lot of pitches yesterday. So I'm with you, Gil. I do think both offenses wake up today. I'm just fascinated to see when A.J. Hinch and Stephen Vogt pull the plug on their starters. I was looking at some of the outs recorded today for the scheduled starters. I don't know if I've seen 9.5s like this. I know Darvish is 9.5. Tyone's got like 11.5. I mean, welcome to postseason baseball in 2025.
Yeah, Cade Smith threw 31 pitches, many of which were up 5 runs, right, yesterday? So that was very curious, which brings me to the Padres and the Cubs, because I think this is, again, I sort of said earlier, it's like, which Yu Darvish shows up in this ball game? And then with that, both Morejon and Miller threw a combined 60 pitches, 1 through 33, 1 through 27, I believe, yesterday. Are they available, in your opinion, for the Padres today?
Yeah, they'll be available, and I'm anxious that the first guy out, Jeremiah Estrada did not throw yesterday, and so from a length and a rest perspective, he's the obvious, can give you multiple innings. Does that mean he's the first guy out? I think it really depends on where you are in the lineup and the spot. I think it's the Cubs as the side for me here, Gil, and I would not be surprised if we get offense from both sides here. So I do lean the over in this game. You would believe that with where the Padres got, and this is why they made the moves at the deadline that A.J. Preller did. Mason Miller is reminding me of watching Andrew Miller in 2016 when he just was a knife through butter in that playoff run for the Cleveland Indians. And if you remember, Gil, it was Terry Francona who made the move in Game 3 of the division series, bringing Andrew Miller in at Fenway Park in the 5th inning that changed how bullpens were used in postseasons from then to what we see now. And that's why a lot of managers are not hesitating with the quick hook. Gone are the days of starters going 5+ here in elimination scenarios. So if I were to err on the side of a more rested, resourceful bullpen, I think the Cubs have the advantage there. If you get 4 innings from Jameson Taillon today, the Cubs are winning this game. It just feels like they have much more of an ability to extend some of their leverage guys than maybe what the Padres would with what you had from Morejon and Mason Miller yesterday.
It's so much about the bullpens. It really is. By the way, the Kansas City Royals going, a back to front, strategy back in the day with Herrera and I'm forgetting who was it Wilson?
Wade Davis and Greg Holland.
Wade Davis, Wade Wilson. I'm thinking about Vikings quarterback. And Holland, right. Herrera, Wilson, and Holland. Also famously on their way to a World Series victory in the mid-2010s. I'm so glad to have you here because I get to ask you a couple baseball questions. One, was the Eaton stopped for the Red Sox on the Yoshida single yesterday? Was he stopped by the third base coach, or did he stop himself? I thought it was the coach, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and gosh, you think about aggressiveness there, especially on the road, Gil. You have to make the defense throw you out there. Like yes. that to me was an automatic. Like you'll take the 10% risk by sending the runner there. I mean, you have to make a perfect relay in that spot. So I'm with you. Yeah, that was a puzzling thing seeing Eaton held up there at third base.
And then the other one was Davey Roberts in the Dodgers-Reds game pulled one of his pitchers, namely, I don't want to forget,
Sheehan,
it was Sheehan. Yeah, he pulled Sheehan on a 1-2 count. When was the last time you saw that when it wasn't an injury involved?
I don't know if I've seen that. And again, that's the uniqueness of where bullpen baseball is in the postseason. So the other part of that though, Gil, is you have to have guys that you can bring in to do that. I mean, we saw even yesterday in the Guardians game, right? Jonathan Rodriguez was announced as the pinch hitter. Then it's a right-hand reliever in Finnegan, and then Rodriguez doesn't even see a plate appearance because they pinch hit Daniel Schneemann. So moves and counter moves for you people out there that like the Hunger Games. That's kind of where we're at here with these bullpens right now.
All right, Yankees, Red Sox today. Yankees with Schlittler, a -162 favorite over early. What do you got?
I hate to do this to Kelly, but my contrarian dog of the day has to be the Red Sox. I feel much better about the under here because I do think you're going to get more swing and miss than maybe people realize. Schlittler's really good. Yankees have won 7 of the last 8 starts he's made. Connolly early hasn't even gotten his full cup of Major League coffee yet with, 30 days of surface time. But this dude is dynamic. So Alex Cora pulled Bayo early yesterday. Won't shock me if he does it again here. Without Whitlock to be able to go multiple innings, though, fascinated to see what those middle and leverage innings look like. But if I got to play a side here, probably playing the Red Sox.
All right, last thing. We will have one divisional round established. The Dodgers and the Phillies, the 3-2 in the NL. The Dodgers on the series price are a slight favorite. I'm seeing minus 119. Shohei and Sanchez in Game 1 on Saturday. We're showing minus 125 on screen. You think that's priced correctly?
Probably. And I guess the other part of it, guys, the off day in between Game 1 and Game 2, so critical for the Dodgers side to be able to extend their starters and be able to cherry pick where they want to use their relievers as well.
Jensen, best time of year, man. Best time of year. So glad we could have you as a resource to talk about actual baseball decision-making on the diamond itself. Enjoy your day, man. You're off today.
Likewise.
You're done. Jensen Lewis allowed to go home finally. Thanks for staying over. Coming back with football next.
Got a good thing coming, so wait and see. It's a good.
Get your edge this season with VSiN's College Football Betting Guide, exclusive to VSiN Pro subscribers. It's packed with 136 team previews, preseason top 25 rankings, and best bets from our experts. Pro subscribers also get the NFL Betting Guide, daily best bet emails, exclusive splits, and full access to our premium betting tools. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe for just $9.99 for your first 30 days. Or save 50% with an annual Pro subscription. And join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Kelly, what do people have against the first R in the word forward? Why do people say forward?
Forward. I don't know. Now you're going to have that in my head all day.
Forward. First Bet and VSiN have teamed up with a special offer. Open and deposit it into a new First Bet account. Get up to $250 sign-up bonus with promo code VSiN250. Then place $100 in wagers within your first 30 days, and you'll unlock a full year of VSiN Pro, a $240 value. Already a subscriber? We'll extend your subscription another year. This offer ends Sunday, October 5th. That's this Sunday, so don't wait. To claim the special offer, use promo code VSiN250 when you sign up at the First Bet app or firstbet.com. That's promo code VSiN250. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Y'all are the best. Appreciate it. This is from, let's see here, Yeet Ninja, who says, Kelly sounded like he was channeling Bill Paxton from Aliens when he started commiserating. Game over, man, when referring to Detroit's pitching today.
Bill Paxton.
CPT John Prescott, MD. Instead of a 2-2-1 divisional series, why not have all 5 games at the higher-ranked team's field? Wow, all 5? Also, why not a 2-2-3 in the best of 7 with the home team getting 5 out of the 7 games at home? Better teams should get a bigger advantage than one more game at home, he says. That's interesting. It's out of the box thinking, one would say. Buddhist man, ready for it. Buddhist man waking up this morning. Me patiently waiting for the annual retelling of the Yom Kippur Massacre story later today on the Megapod. He's got Cat Williams beam on there. Jason Stark, the adoption of ABS challenge system, the automatic balls and strikes challenge system, is a great first step, but it should just be used on every pitch and a speaker call out the result. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gil, but that's what I recall happening in tennis. First it was a challenge system, then it just took over completely. No reason to have any human error in ball strike calls. Have the home plate umpire for fouls and plays at the plate, period. That is exactly how it started in tennis. It was a challenge system.
So are all the...
In fact, Roger Federer had one go against him early on in the early days, and he asked the ump, can we just turn this thing off?
So what's the setup going to be for umpires next year? Have they gotten into those details yet?
I don't know if I have the details. The only detail that like raises an eyebrow is it can't come from the dugout. It has to be the pitcher, the catcher, or the batter.
Right.
Which is an odd little quirk. James, NTIJ89, he says, I'd like to point out that Sporer said you didn't even have to try to see how the Reds could upset the Dodgers. LA, the only team to win 2-0. Go Dodgers. Yeah, I don't think Sporer was alone in that opinion. We love Paulie, but that was a commonly held one. This is from ASNF0520. Early and Schlittler, today's pitching matchup, Early and Schlittler could easily be the Paulie Howard replacement for Lundy Law. Connolly's our guy. Go get him, Con. You hear that commercial that Paulie does?
Oh, yeah.
Early and Schlittler. Ben McGovern, for those who that bet the Rams minus 3.5, that'd be me. Should we try to middle the game with a bet on San Francisco plus 9? We are not going to go another week this year with 2 NFL games, this one and the Ravens game, where the lines have moved this much. Like, it's unlikely to happen again.
That is a good call.
For the entire season. It's just amazing.
You add up all those points, I mean, geez, what are we talking? 10 and like 6.5, like 16, 17 points combined? Whew.
To answer your question, I am not. I'm just riding with my minus 3.5. Matthew
you got the best of it. I don't know why there would be any reason to rush to that.
Matthew Mayberry, the third base coach, was waving him home, and Eaton had his head down and stopped. It was on Eaton, not the base coach. You know, I kept looking for that. I didn't see that, but I'll take your word for it. Big Kahuna, Yom Kippur story. Sean Green not playing for the Dodgers and caught heat. Ironically, I ran into his parents in Vegas. Mom asked my opinion. I stated, I think he should take the day off if that's what he believes. She was pleased. The dad looks at me and says, roll the dice. That's Sean Green's parents'
Roll the dice.
first-hand story. By the way, the Sandy Koufax won in 1965. The Dodgers owner, Walter O'Malley, said, and I guess this is how they talk this way at that time, Kelly, he goes, quote, I won't let Sandy pitch on Yom Kippur under any circumstances. I can't let the boy do that to himself. And then the next breath he was like, could you ask the Pope what he can do about rain? That's great. All right, let's talk football tonight. Speaking of the Rams and the Niners, the Rams up to a 9-point favorite. And, of course, the headline here, no Brock Purdy, no Ricky Pearsall, no Juwan Jennings. It's just it's a mash unit. By the way, throw in for good measure, if you'd like, no Jordan Watkins, also at wide receiver. So the offense just decimated. I mean, they're going to have it's a Mac Jones game, and Mac Jones from the skill position players is going to have to rely on Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, the tight end tandem of Tonjes and Farrell, little Kendrick Bourne and Sky Moore from the outside. Is that it? Demarcus Robinson, MVS maybe. Is he available? I don't even know if he's available. So that's why this has gone up to 9 more than any other reason. Even though on Guessing Lines Monday, I thought -3.5 was too low, and it was -5.5 within a couple hours, and then we got all the news. So this is the 3.5 points since then, since the 5.5. And just a couple things about this game. One, I talked a little bit about this yesterday, Kelly, which is, remember, with trends, one of the reasons why we don't do a lot of them here on the show is because you'll find that people cite trends, and then as soon as the trends aren't really the narrative that folks want or aren't really like, ooh, interesting content, no one ever talks about them again. So remember, Shanahan owns McVay. It's 10-6 after the Rams swept the Niners last year. Not impressively, by the way, but they did sweep them. And the only time they've ever met in the playoffs, McVay won on the way to the Rams Super Bowl title. So that's not a thing, in my opinion.
I also caught a couple yesterday about how bad he is as a big dog. And you're like, all right, well, like that just usually
Shanahan?
Yeah, they just means he's got bad teams usually, so it's tough.
He's a big dog for a reason.
Yeah.
The Rams have won. The Rams beat Houston at home. They beat Tennessee on the road. They should have won at Philly, but lost. They probably should have lost against the Colts, but won. That's the Rams season so far. The Niners, if you want to do the autopsy, here's the real issue, and this is before the MASH unit injury report today. So remember, Purdy played games 1 and 4 so far. Mac Jones played games 2 and 3. First game was the Purdy-led win at Seattle when he threw the ball to Tonjes in the end zone. Tonjes in the end zone within the last 2 minutes of the game, and Tonjes somehow made the catch. Looked like it was going to get picked. And then subsequently, the Seahawks got the ball all the way to the Niners' 9-yard line, down 17-13. And then Sam Darnold got sacked and fumbled, and that was the ball game. Game 2 with Mac Jones, they played New Orleans at New Orleans. Remember how a lot of y'all think about New Orleans. They won that game 26-21, but remember, New Orleans had the ball with a chance to win it late. They got all the way to the Niners' 42-yard line, and Rattler got sacked and fumbled, and that was the end of that game. So another one-score win by the Niners, held onto by their defense. Game 3, the Niners won 16-15 against the Cardinals on a at-the-gun kick by Pinheiro, at the game-winning field goal. And then this past week, they finally lose to the Jaguars, also a one-score game. But remember, that's the game that we've talked about all week. The Jaguars made no less than 5 mental errors. They were like, here, take the newspaper to the 49ers. And the 49ers couldn't take it from them. And that was a Brock Purdy game. By the way, I just want to say this from a macro perspective beyond this game between the Rams and the Niners. Do we kind of think the Niners screwed up here with Brock Purdy? Because remember when I was talking about that game against the Jaguars last week, I was saying how if you watched it, Purdy airmailed at least 5 throws. So I don't think he can plant on that toe. He's not playing today. But I feel like the Niners might have messed up.
What do you mean screwed up, though? Like it rushed him back?
Yes, like he should not have played at all.
Or like you shouldn't pay the guy.
No. I mean, he shouldn't have played.
Okay.
I don't think he was ready to play.
Well, I mean, that if that's the case,
yeah,
early in the season, that's a big mistake.
I feel like it is. Now, so what's the path for the Niners? If you're like, okay, but how did the Niners win or at the very least cover this game? It's probably Robert Saleh's defense, right? Mm-hmm. We just mentioned the 2 big fumbles at the end of the first 2 games. You can't count on that. But the Niners haven't let any team score more than 26 on them. And they have not given up more than 325 total yards in a game yet. So that's the path, right? A big defensive performance that does produce a couple turnovers, and then somehow what's left of the offense does enough. That's a tough script, right?
No, I mean that's it though.
Yeah.
I mean you nailed it, and it's heavy McCaffrey, and somehow that's successful, right? And they're able to run the clock a little bit. I don't think the Rams are going to be like that. Rams defensive front is solid. They're going to want to get the running game going as well. I kind of lean to the under in this game. I could see that playing out, even if the Rams do win. It would definitely be a lean to the under. There's under money coming in right now.
I've said this before. I'll say it again. As far as Survivor is concerned, again, I have 6 entries. 2, I believe, will be on the Rams.
I think I'm using one. I'm using one, Gil. I got two left. Yeah, I'm using one.
Yeah, I think this is, again, the biggest thing with Survivor. It's the case every year, but I feel like it's more pronounced this year in the short going than ever, which is any notion of scripting this long term. Like the Rams were not, forget that before the season, you would never have looked at this game and thought, oh, Rams.
But that's more of a Niners thing, right?
2 weeks ago, you wouldn't have thought that. Last week, you wouldn't have thought that. Right? Monday morning, you wouldn't have thought that when I made the 3.5 bet. But now, I'm not really sure you should avoid it. I think it's almost like a have-to pick. If you have multiple entries, if you don't, if you have one, then I could see you going a different direction, which we got into earlier in the week. We'll come back. Tim Murray on college football. All his thoughts next on A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim is the only thing like it in the world.
Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
Lesson number 1, Patty's back. I still believe that Caleb Williams is not any good. And, other than Rome Odunze, I don't trust anyone that can't run the ball.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN.
Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
VSiN Pro subscribers now have exclusive access to our new AI player prop projections powered by Opta AI, the same trusted brand behind soccer analytics in the UK. You'll get AI-driven projections for quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs across the most popular prop categories, compared directly to current DraftKings lines to highlight value. Sort by player, gamer stat, and track how projections shift throughout the week with injury updates and team trends. VSiN Pro subscribers can see them now at vsin.com/props. That's vsin.com/props. Little AI in your betting arsenal right there at vsin.com/props. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate it. This is from GV, New Jersey, New York. He says, quote, "It's the best sports betting story ever. ... on the Megapod. Great catch there, Gil, accounting for many stories by Chrissy, your mishpucha, on guessing lines." Very true. Very true. The Chrissy's his own category of great stories, though.
These guys catch everything. I didn't even notice Gil do that earlier.
Yeah, I did. Because Chrissy's are his own category from his perspective behind the desk, whereas Todd's is just from the bettor's perspective.
Yes.
Yes. Ryan Thompson, the ABS system next year. Oh, thank you for the clarification here, Ryan. The ABS system next year will be the same as it was in spring of 25 and what has been used in AAA the past few years. If a pitch is challenged, the umpire will announce it, and they will play a graphic with the zone and pitch location on the scoreboard. There's your answer, Kelly.
Oh, good. Thank God. It always needs to be accompanied by a cool graphic. Just like the NFL preseason. Zoom in down onto the line.
Well, just like tennis with a ball, and they can, if it's really, really close, they have to zoom in more.
How did the NFL try to copy that and make it worse? Like, they have the NFL money. Why does it look so cheesy?
If Scott Hansen, if he once again goes on this thing, brand new innovative technology, I'll lose my mind. Mikey P, Gil, I'm curious. Let's say you had -2.5 in pocket on the Rams. Would you consider a middle then, since you're below the key number of 3? I'd certainly consider it more. But the notion of middle. This is what we fill content with a lot of theoretical. But when you're in the moment betting, right, and you have a ticket, a lot of people are middlers by nature, not because I hate you. A lot of people are sort of like, no, I got the best of it, I'm just going to roll with it. So I don't, for me, I'm more of the latter than I am a middler by nature. But yes, to answer your question, if it's below the 3, much more of a possibility. Mm-hmm. Are you a middler by nature? You're Kelly. At one time you were Kelly Midland Midler.
Yeah, but it was always live. That was always live bet, right? So it's whatever you got your pregame bet. Hey, for me, right? This is pregame bet. You've got the best of it. This is what we talk about all the time. What's changed with your bet? Really, the only things that have changed is your bet looks a lot better than it did a few days ago. So for me personally, it'd be sitting tight, and you don't know what could happen in the game, right? Something happens in the game, Stafford goes down or something, fine. Then you've got an opportunity to jump in and buy off your position or try to middle something.
Nothing middling about this guy. He is the host of not only VSiN Primetime, but the College Football Tailgate Show and the College Football Sports Betting Podcast. Tim Murray joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on Twitter at 1. That's the number 1, Tim Murray. Tim, good morning, sir.
What's up, gentlemen? Yeah, a quick clarification on the I went to a couple AAA games this year. This is actually a AAA hat, Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders in PA. It is the system, the replay system is incredible. It is exactly like tennis, Gil. It's very fast. It's very efficient. The player just looks at challenge. They go up to the board. It takes max 20 seconds. It's very efficient, and I'm looking forward to it being an MLB this next year.
I always think about people like Earl Weaver, the famous Baltimore Orioles manager who was famous for arguing with the umps and getting in umps' faces. He would lose his mind the opposite. He'd be like, "What? Let me know if I need to get mad at somebody." This would drive him nuts because he wouldn't be able to have that outlet. But this is all in the name of progress, and I'm glad we're moving along with it. College football, your bread and butter, Tim. Because Kelly is an FSU graduate, I want to start every college football segment with this week. Miami and FSU. What are your thoughts on this ball game?
Yeah, I know that our good friend, the Bear, is riding with Miami. And my initial inclination always is to look at the dog and make a case for the dog. I have not bet this game. I'll be upfront right now. But it actually probably would be Miami or pass. I loved the spot last week for Virginia against Florida State. I didn't know they'd win the game outright. Obviously, kind of a crazy finish there with the field storming and all of that. But look, Florida State vastly improved from a year ago. But the way Miami continues to play from a defensive standpoint, how efficient they've been offensively, I find it hard to envision Florida State winning this game. But that all being said, It's not a big spread. They're at home. They played exceptionally well there when you think back to week one. And unlike LSU, for example, whose week one win continues to lose luster every week over Clemson, the Florida State win certainly looks a lot better based off of what we saw from Alabama last week down between the hedges against Georgia. But look, Miami, I think right now I would probably have them as the third best team in college football, just, based off of what we've seen. I think you got to give the edge to Ohio State and Oregon slightly over Miami, but I can't wait to watch this game. I love the fact that this rivalry, which was so enormous during the 90s, we had the missed field goals galore in closing seconds there. So I think in a week that is maybe lacking a little bit of juice, this game is going to be great. And even though Florida State lost last week, I still think it still brings the same punch to the table. So can't wait to watch it. And, as you guys were just talking about live betting, certainly live betting is a great angle to look at this one for me. But it would probably be Miami or pass, but I have not bet this game yet.
Canes favored by 4.5 on the road at the Doak, Kelly's old stomping grounds. Real quick before we get to your bets, Tim, Alabama, Vanderbilt, I think I'm contractually obligated to ask you about this. Can Vandy do it 2 years in a row? Bama, 10.5-point home favorite.
Well, Diego Pavia thinks it's going to be easy as long as they do what they're supposed to do. I think the quote was, if we do that, if we play our game, it won't be close. Wow. That is what Van Wilder, a.k.a. Diego Pavia, said leading into this one. But look, this is where we're at in 2025. And Vanderbilt last year, as you mentioned, pulled off the stunner of all stunners, beating number one Alabama as a 23-point underdog. And now they're at Bryant-Denny, and they're only a 10.5-point underdog. Think about the change we've had from 1 year to now. And Vanderbilt deserves a ton of credit for that. It's not just they have Diego Pavia, who's 28 going on 40 as their quarterback, but they also have legit players. Like their tight end Stowers is going to be a high draft pick. They have talent on this roster. Look, I think Alabama's going to win this game. And look, the way I attacked it, I'm not a big money line parlay guy, but I do think Alabama, if you want to throw them in a money line parlay, I threw them in with Louisville this week. I think Louisville at home against Virginia is a tricky spot for the Wahoos, but I have a hard time envisioning Alabama losing 2 years in a row to Vanderbilt. Look, this is a new world for Vanderbilt. This is just the second time in school history that they are the college game day game. 2008, they were hosted College Game Day, and now they're back on it. And for Alabama, this will be, I believe, their 61st time on College Game Day. So this is a new world for Vanderbilt. Wow. But you got to give them a lot of credit. Clark Lee has done a phenomenal job at his alma mater. He's gotten the right pieces to come in. When you take that Vanderbilt job, you're like, all right, well, good luck, buddy. You'll probably be fired in 3 years, and then you'll get a payout and you go be a coordinator somewhere else. But he's done the James Franklin route, right? James Franklin took Vanderbilt and catapulted it to Penn State. We'll see what Clark Lee ultimately does. But look, Alabama for me heading into the year was my national champion. It took a big hit week one, obviously, but I think Alabama should take care of business. Vanderbilt, by the way, you look at some of the metrics, guys, they are an elite offense. Their numbers are through the roof right now, but 88th right now in strength of schedule versus Alabama coming in at number 4. Alabama wins. If I had to play it from a side standpoint, I still would lay it. And I think when we saw it get to 9.5, guys, that lasted very quickly as you saw folks come right in and whack that back up to 10.5. So I like Alabama here in this spot. And personally, I'll be putting them on a money line parlay with Louisville.
All right. And the Tim Murray ATS best bet of the week in college football is?
I'm going to go Cincinnati. Cincinnati at home against Iowa State. We've seen the market move a little bit here in the Bearcats' favor. I still think you could either lay one or you could take a palatable money line. It looks like minus 120s are readily available. Look, Iowa State has gotten off to a phenomenal start. We all remember they opened up the season over in Dublin with that win over Kansas State. But now you're going on the road, and guys, they are down their top 2 cornerbacks. And Brendan Sorsby for Cincinnati, look at some of his numbers. They are through the roof. And you think back to that week 1 loss for Cincinnati at Arrowhead. They kind of were self-inflicted wounds. This offense is humming right now. at Cincinnati. I would love to see Dante Corleone, the big defensive lineman for Cincinnati who's missed 2 games, play here on Saturday afternoon. But I think the Bearcats take care of business here against Iowa State, a team that's a little bit banged up. And I think the Bearcats offense is going to be a bit too much for the Cyclones here on Saturday afternoon.
All right, Tim Murray, everybody. VSiN College Football Tailgate Show, 9 a.m. Eastern, Saturday. You do that solo, Tim? Is that you, solo host?
Yes, sir.
Man. And then the College Football Sports Betting Podcast, football betting podcast, drops